everyone. Welcome. And we're going to talk today with Nelson Lopes. He is the cloud solution architect at Microsoft. And today we're going to talk about low code, no code applications for nonprofits. And we're going to jump right in and we're going to get to know what that means exactly. But first, let's chat a bit about Nelson and who he is, what he does, all that fun stuff. So first question and first welcome, Nelson. So thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Michelle. Great to be here. My title at Microsoft is Cloud Solution Architect. And what I do in my role, and I've been at Microsoft for about 20 years, is in my current role, what I do is I work with some of the system integrators that Microsoft works with in order to help them take our technology and set it up, implement it, configure it, customize it in the environments of our mutual customers. And so what I do is I help to train those system integrators and enable them from a product knowledge capability, technical capability, and so forth. That's what I do in my role.
Perfect. Thanks for explaining that. And we heard that you spent some time in South Africa. What was that about? Tell us more about it.
Yeah, that was one of my most special moments in the 20 years at the company. Microsoft has this initiative, which is called MS Skills for Africa. So it's basically a program that allows you to go to a number of our subs in Africa and work with some of the local Microsoft partners and our customers in order to transfer over some skills. So I think I went over in, it was January of 2016, I believe, that I went over. And at that time, I was working on a Microsoft technology called Dynamics 365 CRM, customer engagement. And that was kind of the precursor for Microsoft Power Platform. A lot of the architecture and technology from Microsoft Power Platform came from Dynamics. And so it was, it had been around in Canada and North America, Dynamics, for a number of years, but it was still fairly new in South Africa. So I went over there to help some of these system integrators, which we call partners, to train them, to enable them, to just do some knowledge transfer and all the years of experience that I had with that product line up until that point. And it was a week. It was pretty amazing. First time that I've ever worked in another Microsoft sub somewhere else. And we went to see three customers. Actually, we went to see a non-for-profit customer at the very last day of that week. And it was just so interesting because what they had done is they had built, this non-for-profit customer had built this donor relationship management system in Microsoft Excel. And which is another Microsoft technology, and they used Excel because that's what they knew. And a lot of people will use Excel for all kinds of crazy things beyond spreadsheets, right? Like they basically create like mini little applications and programs. And in a way, like Excel is kind of a low code, no code application and solution. Today in 2021, of course, we have something much better, which is Microsoft Power Platform. At the time, we didn't have Microsoft Power Platform. We had Dynamics, which you could, it was still a little bit better than Excel, but it was a technology that you could use to adapt to create an application or to create a portal. And so that's my role today. My role today is kind of like the evolution of Dynamics to Microsoft Power Platform. It's really this low code, no code suite of technologies from Microsoft that empower anybody to create an application, to create a portal, to create a bot, a digitized business process with little to no knowledge of code. So you don't have to be a professional developer. And so what that does is that opens up the ability, that opens up the audience to like a whole new world of people that can now develop those things without having to always rely on a professional developer. Like you'll still need a professional developer for like maybe the last 5-10% of the project. Maybe there's something really complex that you're doing, but this empowers, like when I think about the technology that I specialize in today, and I think about that visit to that nonprofit in South Africa and what they did, the incredible thing that they did in building that donor relationship management in Microsoft Excel, I can't help wondering today, like, if they had access to something like Microsoft Power Platform, what more could they do? Like, could they create a portal interface for that donor relationship management that would allow donors to log in directly and make donations and keep track of their donations and request like tax receipts automatically and have that generated through an automation through Power Platform? So long answer to your question, but that's what I do. And coincidentally, that great trip to South Africa did actually have an association with a non-for-profit, coincidentally at the end of the week. Yeah.
Amazing. And how do you see what you do impacting the organizations, nonprofits that are listening to you?
My job is to explain to them how this technology can be used by customers in non-for-profit. And what I love about just Microsoft technology in general is that it is really Microsoft democratizes technology. Microsoft has always democratized technology, taken pretty sophisticated technology that maybe in the past was very hard to use and very expensive, and really lowering the bar and democratizing it and making it accessible to as many people as possible. And that is the beauty of something like Microsoft Power Platform, is that it is at the cost point that it is and the ease of use, it is a great platform for non-for-profits because it allows them to do things that in the past were just overly complex or maybe too expensive. And for anybody that has just, you're not a developer, but maybe you have some slight technical knowledge, maybe you're a guru in Excel, and maybe you're somewhat familiar with Excel formulas, you can get your hands on Microsoft Power Platform and build out solutions very, very quickly for your non-for-profit. We have lots of examples, like the Red Cross, for example. They're just one of many non-for-profit customers that use Microsoft Power Platform. And they had a situation where they did a lot of training for people, like CPR, and they had to lend out a bunch of equipment to do scheduling, to do these workshops around CPR. And all of that was very manual. It was paper-based. Sometimes they would lend out equipment and they couldn't track it or get it back. And the whole scheduling situation was a bit of a mess. And so they digitized all that. Like they got rid of all their paper forms, all their manual processes that were prone with so much human errors, and they created a digital solution. They created a portal to help people that wanted to do these workshops to schedule that electronically, digitally. And it was just a much more efficient solution at the end. Like first of all, they saved a lot of time. They saved a lot of costs. They're able to track exactly how many workshops they're able to deliver. So they had, like, once you digitize something and you put it in a digital format, like once you do that, then you get reporting and insight and analytics and dashboards to help you to figure out, okay, what's actually working really well or not. Because up until that point, if everything's manual and it's paper-based, then you can't really report on it and track on it and see how well you're doing. And so that's just one quick example. There's many more examples of non-for-profits using Microsoft Power Platform for low-code, no-code application solution development. But that's just one of them.
That's fascinating. What a wonderful example to actually see, efficiency and all these things. And it's wonderful that there's the support out there, and it is easy enough for people like me that aren't so techy, which moves me on to our next question, which is, why did Microsoft invent a low-code, no-code platform? It seems like that might be contractive to making money on cloud systems.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, like I said, it's always been in Microsoft's DNA to democratize technology. Like you think about, over the years, how Microsoft has really made technology very accessible in terms of lowering the cost, making it much easier for people to use. As a result, billions of people have got access to some of this technology that in the past was just out of reach. And so there's always been various attempts over the history of Microsoft to have technology that would help people, non-developers, build apps, build portals, build processes, build bots, and so forth. But like if you think of things in the past, like Microsoft InfoPath, or even Access, or even Excel. Like Excel is in a way an example of a piece of technology that people will use to build like a quasi, very very limited donor management solution, or right. But the biggest reason why Microsoft assembled the suite of technologies that are in Microsoft Power Platform, and why today, is for a couple of reasons. The world is digitizing, especially after what's happened in the last 18 months with the pandemic and COVID. Organizations around the world, every organization, not just non-for-profits, they've been rushing to digitize applications and processes because people are working remotely, they're working at home. And so there's just a shortage of developers that can write that through traditional line-by-line code. And so what we have now is we have this platform that says, okay, we don't need developers to develop every single app or every single portal. We have this suite of technologies. It's called Microsoft Power Platform, and this allows like this other group of people, much bigger group of people, that maybe they're not developers, but they're like somewhat comfortable in Excel and Excel formulas and PowerPoint. We give them the suite of tools to do something, to develop an app, to develop a solution. That's pretty good. That's pretty, it's amazing what you could do with little to no code in today in terms of building an app, building a portal, building a workflow, a process, an automation, a bot. You can build a bot with little to no code. And so why now is because there's a shortage of professional developers in the world, but we don't need professional developers for, a lot of the apps and the solutions that we're building. We, through the suite of technologies that Microsoft has, we can, through Microsoft Power Platform, we can really enable this, and we can now allow this other group of people here to go off and create some pretty compelling solutions really quickly at a dramatically lower cost than what was possible in the past.
Yeah, that takes away the intimidation factor for me, and maybe I'll dive in and figure out my own application.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Nelson, do you have any takeaways for our audience? One or two takeaways? Yeah,
I do. Okay, so if this sounds interesting and you want to try this, and you want to get hands-on, you can we have this thing called App in a Day, and it's basically a set of hands-on labs that allows you to go through the Microsoft Power Platform suite of technologies. And over a day or two, it's called App in a Day, but it might take you 2 days. You create like a really sophisticated application with very little to no code, and where there is like one line of code or 2 lines of code, it's in the lab, and you just have to copy and paste it in, so you don't have to worry about trying to figure it out. So the way you get to this, it's called App in a Day, and you go to aka.ms, like ms/app in a day, or just do like an internet search for Power Platform App in a Day. So it's again aka.ms/app in a day. If you want to get hands-on and learn more.
That's amazing. Thanks for that advice. And again, that once again reassures us that there is support, and it's easy enough with this training to really go for it and give the apps a try, really, to build it yourself. So thanks so much, Nelson, for joining us. You were fabulous. Love all the insight, and it was great to have you.
Thanks, Michelle. And thanks again for having me.
Thanks.